Today is our Project Heat Telethon. We're helping to raise money for the United Way's Keep Me Warm Fund. It's a donation of $300, which will help fill 100 gallons of oil for a Maine family trying to stay warm this winter. Good evening, everybody. I am Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Samantha York. All donations will go to United Way's Keep Me Warm Fund, helping to keep Mainers warm this winter. We've got crews in Bangor and Portland ready to take your calls and donations. So far, we've raised more than $62,000. That's fantastic. So let's keep those phones ringing. And we want to check in first with our meteorologist, Jess Conley. Hey, Jess, how's it going there?
Hey, guys, it's going well here. We're switching sides. We are here with Mike Tarpinian. He is the president and CEO of the Opportunity Alliance. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and if you could just tell us a little bit about kind of what the Opportunity Alliance does and how it responds to, people's requests for heating help in the winter.
Well, the Opportunity Alliance is the community action agency here in Cumberland County, and we do a couple of things. We do a regular fuel assistance program through the federal government, and then we also do emergency crisis fuel assistance. We operate 211, and so we get the calls in emergencies for individuals and families. Last year, we received 270 calls for emergency fuel assistance. Without this program, without the ability to raise funds, we wouldn't be able to respond to those some 270 households. What does it look like? Well, we have elderly folks who call, who are on fixed incomes that are unable to fill their oil tanks. We have single parents and single mothers with children who can't afford to fill their oil. Maine people are proud, and they won't reach out until the very last minute. And so that's why this emergency funds, the ability for us you all to raise the funds and for us to respond is so critical.
Great, thank you so much. And what's the best way that someone could reach out to your organization if they do need help?
Call 211.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining us again this year.
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate it. We're going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, and the timeliness of the telethon certainly is not lost here because it's going to get really, really cold.
It's freezing.
And then it's going to snow, and it's going to get even colder. And yay, Keith's here.
The CFCs from your hairspray, Sammy, I think they should help warm us back up.
You're welcome, everyone.
They were illegal many years ago, but they might be coming back. I'm not sure. All right, 20 right now in Portland, 19 in Lewiston, 8 in Berlin. It is cold, and that sets the stage not only for our light snow event tomorrow, but certainly for the bigger storm as we look towards the weekend. Here's this little baby storm that's going to come through tomorrow. The models have actually backed off the amount of snow, and it's really interesting because Jess and I were theorizing this has something to do with the strength of the storm to the west, that it's zapping a little bit of the energy from this one for Friday. So I don't think anyone's going to shed any tears over this, but it looks like less snow tomorrow than it had looked originally. Here's the snow moving to Pennsylvania, just coming out of the Ohio Valley right now. So clouding up overnight tonight. There will be some snow around through tomorrow morning, but I would characterize tomorrow now as periods of light snow. I don't think it's snowing consistently through the morning and early afternoon. There are just some periods of snow in there, particularly along the coastline. Here it is 2, 3 o'clock, and then moving out late tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow night. During the day on Saturday is fine. People are asking me a lot about the timing of this storm. If you've got stuff to do during the day on Saturday, no problem at all. Guys, believe it or not, this little thing is the big storm for us over the weekend. We'll talk about timing and, of course, amounts in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Keith. All right, so for today's Just Do It for the Internet Award, it's going to go to this guy who thought it would be a great idea to try to walk out to the ice disk that is floating in the Presumpscot River in Westbrook. The Icy Sphere has made national and international headlines this week, gaining attention for its moon-like look. However, they didn't quite make it. They fell before they were able to land on the moon. Get it?
Yep.
Get that up myself. And luckily, their buddy was there to help them hopefully ask, are you crazy? And then help them up, of course.
The police helped him decide to get back as well. Thousands of Maine families will receive next month's SNAP benefits today as the government shutdown enters day 27. Governor Janet Mills made the announcement earlier this week to prepare for the shutdown's impact on federal money coming into the state. Maine is not alone in this move, with states across the country releasing the money to recipients early. Federal money, Mills says the state already has. 180,000 Maine families are impacted by this. That's roughly 1 in every 7 people.
And Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker filed a bill to legalize sports betting in Massachusetts. The expansion will make Massachusetts the second state in New England to legalize sports betting since the Supreme Court gave states the option to do so last spring. Rhode Island already allows sports betting. In Maine, the topic is expected to be brought up and talked about during this legislative session. Gone are the days when lockdown drills in schools are outside the norm. After the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut, a new type of training was developed.
It teaches students and teachers how to make tourniquets in the event of an emergency. And as our own Lindsay Mills reports, students in Somerset County are the first in the state to learn how to stop the bleed.
Little red packs with gauze, scissors, and a blue tourniquet. They cost anywhere from $250 to $300, and it's the hope of one group that they become as readily available as defibrillators in public places like schools.
We are trusting the public to learn CPR and those skills. We're trusting them with EpiPens. Now we're trusting them with administering Narcan. So why wouldn't we trust them with learning how to control bleeding, how to properly apply a tourniquet to save somebody's life?
There. Students at Carabec High School in North Anson are learning how to use them.
Is this hurt?
If something happens, I've got to help and I've got to be able to be ready. And having this training makes me feel even more ready.
The Department of Homeland Security initiative called Stop the Bleed formed after the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in 2012.
A group of surgeons, medical professionals, law enforcement, EMS, the government got together and said, how can we increase the survivability of victims in tragedies like this?
The program teaches the correct technique for applying a tourniquet, and when that's not an option, other ways to stop bleeding from deep wounds.
I just looked at this as another tool, skill to give them, to prepare them for anything. I mean, whether there was an accident at home, work, just something else for them to have.
And since December, the team at Reddington Fairview Hospital has trained 100 people. In Maine, 400 people have undergone the training, which is pretty cool. Scarborough Police Department is introducing 2 initiatives in the hopes of helping foster the relationship between the town's children and the department. The first is Operation Kind, which stands for Kid in Need of De-Escalation. When officers respond to situations that involve school-aged children, communicating with the school resource officers will be a priority so that the kids' needs are met.
Now, there will also be High Five Fridays, which is an effort to promote positive interactions and relationships with the young people in Scarborough. An officer will greet students as they arrive at a school on Friday mornings and offer high fives to all of the kids going in for the day. It's a way for the community to be reminded that all police officers are available to them if needed.
It's great that an SRO gets recognized as that person who you can trust and come to with an issue and so forth. But there's a lot of other officers here, and so part of the idea is to not just use the school resource officers, but to use all of our officers, because I think it's helpful to see that it's not just one police officer. You know, you can have these kinds of relationships with police officers across the board.
The High Five Friday program will be voluntary, and Chief Moulton said a group of officers have already come forward to volunteer. That's so sweet.
Very
I love
sweet.
that.
Right, check this out.
Oh, here we go.
It's a pretty, this is incredible ice here. Out on Sebago Lake, the world's finest skating on the planet Earth.
Look at these big boulders. This video is courtesy of Eric McNett, who went for a leisurely skate on see-through Sebago Lake. He estimated that the ice was about 2.5 inches thick, and he was about 5 feet from the bottom of the lake. He did have a team of people skating all together just in case something went wrong. Some amazing video, though, of what it looks like skating on glass. Thank you, Eric, for that unbelievable visual.
I love that's amazing. And check this out. In Lebanon, help wanted, odd hours, low pay, cool helmet. Well, at least the fire department's honest.
And that is definitely so Maine. All right, coming up, we will get you hyped up, in case you're not already, for the Patriots game against the Chiefs for a trip to the Super Bowl on Sunday.
And also, a 9-year-old Pennsylvania girl is being called a hero. And don't forget to donate to the Project Heat Telethon. Make sure you call the number on your screen.
If you've tuned into News Center Maine at all today, you definitely know by now we are doing our Project Heat Telethon on this day.
We're raising money for United Way's Keep Me Warm Fund to help Mainers with heating assistance. Our Hannah Deneen has been holding down the fort in Bangor for us all day. Hey, Hannah, how are things going there?
Hey, Samantha and Lee. Things are going great. Things have started to really pick up here since we went back on air at 5 o'clock. And the calls are flooding in. The donations are flooding in. So far, today our total is $62,170. That's incredible. Thank you so much to everyone who has taken the time to call in and donate over the phone, or also send a check in to the Keep Me Warm Fund. So the number we've been talking about all day is $300. A $300 donation is what is going to be able to give a single household 100 gallons of heating oil and really help a family in need. There are over 148,000 Mainers across the state that are in poverty, who have to make those hard decisions every day, deciding between food, healthcare costs, and the basics of heating oil. So something else we know about Maine, though, is that Mainers really like to take care of their own and make sure that we are all staying safe and warm this winter. So that is why clearly these phones are ringing off the hook, and people are just looking for ways to give back today. So we will be here until 7:30 tonight, and I'm going to hop on a phone and take some calls as well. Samantha.
This guy is incredible. He finds a way to make things happen. The Chiefs have the best player in the league.
And what you see him do, you may never see another quarterback do, ever.
It'll be a good game. They're a good team. And we played them earlier this year. I know, everyone thinks we suck and, can't win any games. So we'll see. It'll be fun.
Let's go.
Okay, I want to go run through a wall right now. How about the hype video from Julian Edelman? Make sure you check out our Patriots coverage starting tomorrow from Kansas City. Jess, Chris, Zach headed out to KC for the big game on Sunday, and they will keep you up to date all the way up to and through kickoff and what would hopefully be another Patriot trip to a Super Bowl. So, there you go.
And coming up, we find out why a little girl is being called a hero in Pennsylvania.
And our very own hero, well, if you have a hero, you have a villain, right? So Keith's coming up next.
All right, this is pretty cool. A 9-year-old little girl from Pennsylvania is being called a hero for climbing a wall and saving her grandmother's life.
Okay, so I want to see this story. So Tim Furlong is going to show it to us.
So my mom dropped me off.
It was the normal Monday routine. Kayla's mom drops her off at Grandmom's on her way to work. Kayla went onto the porch.
I walked up here, then I started knocking on the door.
But Grandma Joyce didn't answer, and so Kayla gave her a shout.
Grandma, it's cold outside, let me in.
By this point, Kayla knew something had to be wrong, and so she literally climbed up to a small transom window.
Up there like that.
The security alarm now going off. Kayla went upstairs and found Grandmom on the floor. Kayla called her mom.
She just said, "Mom, you gotta come back. Please come back. I just found Grandmom on the floor."
Once the police officers arrived, Kayla had to figure out a way to get the police officers in, so she found Grandma's keys and threw them back to the officers right through the window where she came in from. Turns out Grandma had a ruptured brain aneurysm. She's now recovering at the hospital.
If Kayla hadn't found her, she certainly would have passed away.
The day before all this, the local Andrew Hicks Foundation had taken Kayla to a place where she got to climb a rock wall. She says that gave her the confidence to scale the wall here, which ultimately saved her grandmother's life. Kayla doesn't get inside. Mom says,
"We probably would have been planning for a funeral."
Now Kayla hopes other kids can learn something from her heroics.
I say keep following your dreams, and then if you try to do it, anything is possible.
Okay, I just want to talk about her hat. best hat.
You like that too?
Yes, such a great hat.
Maybe I'll get you one, Lee. You can wear it on air.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will.
So.
Oh, here he is.
You guys ready?
No.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, come on. At this point, we haven't even had snow since feels like November. So let's go.
Not true, but
I mean,
I like that you feel that way.
Speak for yourself. My goodness.
No, come on, Sammy.
I just don't like when it all comes at once.
It's coming on a Sunday with a holiday on a Monday. It's perfect.
And the Patriots are playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perfect day.
As long as you don't lose power, which most of us won't, so be fine. All right, 20 Portland, 8 in Berlin, 1 in Greenville, and 5 in Millinocket. It is cold out there. It'll be cold overnight tonight as well. As I mentioned, the first disturbance that comes through tomorrow looks a little bit weaker than I initially thought, which is going to be okay. I'm not sure exactly why, but there might be something to do with the conservation of energy here in the atmosphere and that the storm to the west is so much stronger. So this is a little clipper. It's going to come through late tonight, early tomorrow morning. But instead of it being snow through the first half of the day, I think it's more like periods of snow. Here we are at 4 in the morning. A couple of snow showers out there. Some light snow along the coastline through the morning commute, but this does not look like a big deal. It looks like most of us end up under an inch of accumulation and dusting in other spots. And then it moves out tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and it's quiet during the day on Saturday. I'm emphasizing that because I got a lot of questions from people about, hey, can I do this or that a Saturday at noon? Yes, basically, anytime before midnight on Saturday is going to be fine. So it's not until late in the evening that the storm starts to move in. There she is. She doesn't look like much right now, right? Coming out of the Pacific Northwest. Going to dive down to the south, grab a little moisture, come in. It's going to be an unusual storm system in its pattern in that it's not truly going to be a nor'easter. It's actually going to be an inside runner storm, which means it's continental in its moisture source. Typically, these aren't big storms for us, but this has a lot going for it. So there's the storm there. Watch it dive down into the plains and then move to the north and east. And again, it's an inside track. What makes this unique, though, is it plows into a high here. So it's got nowhere to go. Slows down tremendously, starts throwing snow in our direction Saturday night, through the day Sunday, in through Sunday night, until early Monday morning before it finally gets unblocked and moves away. So again, the timing is such that the snow overspreads around midnight. It's snowing everywhere late Saturday, heavy through the day on Sunday. Really, really heavy stuff. We'll get some sleet along the immediate coastline here, it looks like, on Sunday afternoon, so we'll see that reflected in totals here, but most of it's snow. It's powder snow inland, continues through again Sunday night, and then early Monday we start to get rid of most of the heavy stuff. So 10 to 18, 18 to 24, back to 10 to 18 as you get farther away from the moisture source itself. And then again, mixing with sleet here along the coast. We're taking that into account with the 10, but I think most of us will be higher than that number. I don't need to do the marine forecast right now. So that's it. That's the big storm there. You know, the thing about this, why is it off by a day? I'm not sure. It's going to be Sunday. There we go. The thing about this storm is, as Lee mentioned, it is pretty well timed. A lot of people, a lot of schools have Monday off as well, so they probably aren't going to net a snow day. They're not going to be off on Tuesday. So, you know.
Gives everybody a day to sit down on Sunday, relax, clean it up on Monday, and back to work we go.
Right, and I don't think the winds are tremendous with this or anything like that either.
Yeah. Right. I can do this one.
All right,
I feel good about this one.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, what's snapping? Okay, you guys at home today found some odd things to share on Snapchat.
Yeah,
and
but they're
we
satisfying.
love what's snapping? Look, it's cutting a Reese's. Look at the size of that Reese's, though. That's bigger than Keith's dog Reese's. That's a big Reese's right there.
I also don't find that as satisfying.
Oh, I would if I ate it.
True.
That would be satisfying.
All right, what's this one? Pen in Play-Doh. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Does it make noises?
I'm not sure about that.
It must, because I feel like it does. I just can't hear it, but they sing it. Okay, and this is
a really cool,
just kind of cool.
Really cool toy.
All right, listen. We love Snapchat stuff.
What's
we like to find out what's
snapping?
snapping. We also want to know what's snapping on News Center Maine at 5:30. and he's a pretty cool guy as well. Pat Callahan here with the latest on that. Hey, Pat.
Hi, Lee and Sam. There's a national monument that pays tribute to women who have served in America's armed forces, and there's a group in Maine that wants to make sure that all female veterans get their due. We will show you what they are up to. It's a big setback for some farmers in Warren, a brand new greenhouse, completely trashed. But as we'll see, people in the community, including a lot of other farmers, are doing what they can to help out. And the federal government shutdown drags on. There are still no negotiations between Congress and the White House, but there are new allegations about the Trump campaign's dealings with Russia. All of that and more coming up on News Center at 5:30.
All right, thanks, Pat. And Brain Drops is next. Here we have a special football edition. Hey-o!
Okay, so people talk about both these ideas were Lee, so I'm going to start there. Sports, weather, science. People talk about this like it's a fact. You hear it on ESPN all the time. Well, cold weather should keep points down, and Vegas tends to run that way. And it's not true. It's not true. So this is over 3,000 games logged in the NFL based on temperature at kickoff. And what you find is these are your average total points. And you'll notice, if anything, and this doesn't make a trend, there was only 10 games where you started at 10 or below at kickoff. At least it may have fallen later, but it's actually a higher point total than if you're sitting here at 85 or above. And so there is no real pattern here whatsoever. And I think this is probably especially true in the NFL. I will say that in college, there tends to be more of a correlation not only with cold, but with snow and rain, changing point totals. But these, you know how the NFL is, there's just not much room between teams. And so they're going to find a way to score points.
But this is crazy to think that you get 41.5 points if it's 80 or above, and 43 if it's 10 or below.
Could be a number of reasons for that. Maybe tackling is a little bit harder, a little more painful. I mean, I think that the real answer is not much changes NFL teams from scoring. Okay, next question or point you had was that Arrowhead is the loudest stadium in the world. They keep going back and forth actually with a couple of other stadiums, but as of right now, loudest at 142 decibels, I believe, was the record. By the way, this is against the Patriots. Yeah, 142 decibels against the Patriots a couple of years ago. So what is that like? What does it relate to? So we have this decibel scale. Let's go to that. The bottom line is it is like being on the deck of an aircraft carrier. So it is the jet engines from that would be the comparison. Also of note is that when you get to 150, that's when you're risking eardrum rupture. So there's not much more room for anybody to top this record safely, but it's not a sound that you can sustain for very long. Anything over 140 can be dangerous to your ears. So that's where the Patriots are going this weekend.
Yeah, and obviously communication and stuff like that is a problem. But I was wondering what the physical actual problem
That's not good
could
for
be.
you.
So, not good.
Not good for you.
All right. Well. Sam's red or Kansas City Chiefs red.
Oh my God, get out of here. 5:30
starts right now.